done our part B. Now we are doing part C. Look at how easy it is. Differentiation is not even a problem. We don't have a problem with differentiation. We know we can see product rule from a distance. We can see quotient rule from a distance. Now here we have 5x plus 1 all over 2 root x. We want to differentiate this. What is this going to be? Well, I know that this root x I cannot differentiate as long as it's like this. So I need to simplify it a bit. So it's going to be 5x plus 1 over, what is this root? It's the square root. So it's going to be 2 multiplying x to the power of half. Okay, remember that the root is the one that goes in the denominator. So it's root 2, so it's a 2. That's square root, right? Now we can do our thingy. We can say that g of x is equal to 5x plus 1 all over 2x to the power of half. Then you're going to say, you know that this is a u, this is your v. This u is also high. You do it with a pencil, then this is low. So we're going to say let u be equal to the top, which is 5x plus 1. Then v is equal to the bottom, which is 2x to the power of half. Then make it right and nicely. Then you're going to say u prime, okay, u prime is going to be the derivative of 5x is 5. Then v prime would be the derivative of 2x to the power of half. You multiply, half comes down, half times 2 is just 1. So it's going to be nothing. Then x to the power of, you subtract 1. So you're going to say, if you don't know, you open your bracket, you say 1 over 2, close bracket, minus 1. Okay? I knew it was negative half, but I want you to punch in the calculator if you're not sure. So it's going to be 2x to the negative half. Okay, so remember we dropped the power, half times 2. If you want to, you can say open bracket 1 over 2, close bracket, times 2. It's half times 2. You get a 1. So that's just a 1, which is nothing here. Okay, now we can then write that g prime of x is equal to low, which is v, d high, which is u prime, minus high, which is u, d low v prime over square the bottom, which is v squared. Remember, low, which is v, d high, derivative of the top, which is u prime, minus high, which is u, d low, derivative of the low, which is v, v prime, over square the bottom. Low d high minus high d low over square the bottom. What is my v? 2x to the power of half, multiplying u prime, 5, minus high, which is 5. Remember that minus is multiplying this whole thing. 5x plus 1 times v prime, which is x to the negative half. This is multiplying, and the negative is affecting all of them, okay? And it's all over square the bottom, which is v, 2x to the power of half, o squared. What does this become now? This is going to be equal to, 5 times 2 is going to be 10x to the power of half, minus, what happens here? We have x to the negative half multiplying 5x, so it's going to be minus. Then, what is 5x times x to the negative half? 5 comes, then x to the 1 times x to the negative half. Remember, you add the power, so it's going to be 1 minus, open bracket, half, which is 1 over 2, close bracket, is equal to, you get a positive half, so it's going to be 5x, it's going to be 5x to the positive half. Then 1 times x to the negative half, that is plus, 1 times x to the negative half is going to be x to the negative half. Okay, like this. Then it is O over 2x to the half, O squared. You say 2 squared, you get 4. X to the half, O squared. Now it's something with the power raised to another power. You multiply the powers. Half times 2 is just 1, so it's just 4x. This now becomes 10x to the power of half minus 5x to the power of half plus x to the negative half all over 4x. Now this becomes, since we have x to the half and x to the half, it will be 10 minus 5, which you just get 5x to the half plus x to the negative half all over 4x. Right? Now what would I do? Here we would just say this is going to be equal to 5 times x to the positive half is root x plus x to the negative half is 1 over x to the positive half. Okay, so we can still keep it as 5x to the positive half plus 1 over x to the positive half, then all over 4x. This now becomes equal to 5x to the half is going to be 5 root x plus 1 over x to the positive half is just a root x, then all divided by 4x. So we could have it like this, which we know that we can separate things. Okay, you could have as 5 root x all over 4x plus 1 over root x divided by 4x, which we know that here we have a fraction being divided by something. It's like to say it will be equal to 5 root x divided by 4x plus, here we have as 1 over root x times 1 over 4x. You multiply by the inverse of the guy in the denominator. The inverse of 4x is 1 over 4x, so we multiply by that. So we'll end up having it as 5 root x divided by 4x plus, here we have 1 times 1 is 1 all over. root x times 4x, it will be 4x root x. This is going to be the final solution, and you could leave it like this. This is going to be your part C, and we are done. We go get the derivative of part D. Goodbye for now.